It is official. Google has now officially outstripped Apple as the most valuable technology company on Wall Street. But how did they do it? And what is next? To discuss that, we have our panel this week. Nick Healy is a senior editor at the technology website CNET, and Claire Connolly is a technology reporter who you can read mostly in the Fairfax Press. How did this happen?
I think it's the diversity. I think, we're talking about 9 sort of semi-affiliated companies all under the umbrella, looking at everything from life sciences right through to high-speed internet to traditional Google things. They're diversifying into hardware. They're thinking about science. They've really done an amazing job of creating a company that's looking at all aspects of the next sort of 50 years.
But what I don't understand is a lot of the things that they're investing in at this stage aren't making money. They just cost money. So how is it that they've managed to become so valuable? Has there been some creative accounting here is what I'm really asking, Claire.
I think it's more the transparency to the market. So while I think Google would argue that it doesn't matter necessarily that these different ventures are losing money. It's that they're going out to the market and saying, hey, here's what we're doing with Boston Dynamics. Here's what we're doing with telecommunications and installing fiber across the US. Here's what our Google X Labs are doing. Now that they've separated out all of those things into their own respectively separate business entities, they are almost treating each of these departments as their own business, which then has reporting responsibilities to the market. So because the market knows what Google is doing, it's therefore more excited about it. A company like Apple, who may very well be developing some very exciting things, the market doesn't know about it because it's a traditionally very secretive company, and we only find out about things once they're ready for launch.
Sure, but it's not like they didn't announce anything interesting last year. They had a brand new music subscription service, a whole radio station. Apple definitely, and the watch, of course, as well. Apple have been announcing new things. Are they just not exciting the market and investors like they used to?
Well, the iPhone is still such a huge percentage of Apple's revenue each year. So when that gets a little flattened, it affects the whole company. Apple still makes a hell of a lot of money and, remarkable amounts of it, offensive amounts of it.
I love how we're talking about this as though there's some kind of failure. It's like, they're still very rich.
No, but this is the thing. They did slump a little bit. They have seen stock reductions, and that's because the iPhone, that is still the egg in their basket of a few smaller quail-like eggs, is a little flattened for the month.
It's also worth mentioning their devices are hugely expensive and their customer service is atrocious, whereas Android devices generally tend to be on the lower end of things. And while I can't really speak to the customer service aspect of it, there's certainly probably a greater market appeal by virtue of the fact that it's affordable.
Are Apple in danger of completely losing that halo, or is this the sort of thing that one big launch or a massively innovative new iPhone could change their fortunes in very short order?
It's impossible to tell. Apple's always been that company where a lot of it didn't make any sense at all. Apple does what a market leader shouldn't be doing and makes a fortune out of it. The other thing to realise is we're not talking about, the revenue of these companies per se. We're talking about what these companies are valued at. Perhaps the question is, are stock markets just black voodoo run by idiots?
They made $21.32 billion in revenue over the last year. Alphabet, or Google, as they've done that pivot. Apple shares have been on a 30% decline over the same time. Google has a market cap of $547 billion, and that's about a 40.3% increase over the last year. So, it's not insignificant.
Which of the various Google Moonshots do you think is looking like the most sure bet for the next 4 or 5 years?
None of them. That's why they're moonshots. That's what's amazing about them. They're willing to sink billions into these things. Even Google themselves or Alphabet themselves calls them other bets. Even they're recognising that these are really, really crazy concepts. But I'll go for the longevity one.
The longevity one?
Calico, where they're actually extending the human lifespan.
It fascinated me that neither of you picked cars, because that seems to be the majority of Google's headlines in the last year outside of search and ads.
Because I wouldn't
really
put that in their moonshots or other bets.
Oh, you think it's a sure bet then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was a moonshot 2 years ago, but I think 2015 was a very good year for the smart car, and it was led predominantly by Google. So I don't think that's in the realm of sci-fi anymore, nor is their fiber business, Access. Nest is a pretty interesting operation that deals a lot with smart home, sensor-based hardware and technology. And we don't really hear a lot about what Google's doing in that space, but obviously there's a lot of R&D going on in that area. I really like the Boston Dynamics, amazing robotics, scary military application kind of stuff.
Big Dog, Alpha Dog, and Cheetah.
Wow.
And just be aware that coming up the side of a cliff towards you is what you will see in the last moment of your life, frantically glimpsed over your shoulder.
There is much more to this on the audio edition of Download This Show. We have an interview with one of the earliest Google employers who is responsible for investing in so many of the businesses that have made Google what it is today. All that is on the RN website. Thanks, guys.